Dagestan has been dominating in the UFC and looking almost unbeatable for years now. Ever since Khabib broke onto the scene, everyone has seen Dagestanis as almost inhuman, a different breed entirely that couldn't be defeated in hand-to-hand combat. Khabib was not shy to mention where he's from either, or how it shaped him into becoming the fighter he's become.
We see so many warriors coming from Dagestan. Like they're very strong.
I think genetic. I think
Genetics.
genetic. I think mountains. I think tough life,
Yeah.
and I think traditional. Our traditional is wrestling. Everybody wrestle. You know, when I was grew up, like sometimes I go with my father to some people's house, and if I see someone like my age, my size, I'm like, okay, father gonna make me wrestle. And this is not only my father. Like everybody, Dagestan, if like even in street. Okay, let's wrestle. Go. Yeah. We're gonna watch.
Khabib may have been the first to bring Dagestan to the mainstream, but Dagestanis have actually been dominating combat sports for a very long time. Dagestan has a long fighting history and culture, and they found a lot of success in sports like wrestling, judo, and combat sambo for a while. But those sports aren't as popular as MMA, especially in countries like the United States. Since Khabib showed how effective Dagestani wrestling and combat sambo could be in MMA, everyone was wondering just how many more fighters like Khabib there were in Dagestan.
Well, when you see a guy like Khabib Numagomedov just run through people in the UFC and you know where that guy's from, you got to go, well, how many more of those guys are over there? You know?
Yeah.
The Dagestan crew, and that's Zabit too. He's from Dagestan. Isn't Islam Makhachev, isn't he from that part of the world as well?
Yeah. That's where...
Killers.
Most Dagestanis are devout Muslims who don't smoke, drink, or party, so the public perception around them was that they were fighting machines, people who don't do anything other than train. It seemed like the Dagestanis had no weaknesses compared to a lot of the top Western fighters who have shown. They have some serious vices, whether that be drinking, smoking, partying, hard drugs, or anything else. Every betting line for a fight involving a Dagestani fighter would have the Dagestani as a very heavy favorite, no matter how skilled or experienced the opposing fighter was. And most of the time, the results of the fights would show that the odds makers were right in having the Dagestanis as favorites. Khabib soon retired from the sport of MMA after his father, Abdulmanap, passed away.
Today, I want to say, it was my last fight. And no way I'm gonna come here without my father.
Abdulmanap was the head coach of Khabib's MMA team, Eagles MMA. By the time Abdulmanap passed, most of the fighters, although incredibly talented, were simply prospects. Islam Makhachev, Umar Nurmagomedov, and Usman Nurmagomedov hadn't yet gotten their opportunity to prove themselves against real high-level competition. Since Abdulmanap had passed before being able to help his fighters reach their full potential, Khabib took it upon himself to assume the role of head coach and train his teammates to become champions. He's even stated that he doesn't like coaching and only does it because it's his responsibility.
How do you like coaching? You like it?
No,
No. Stressful? I bet.
I don't like wrestling.
I don't know how you do it.
But I have to be here. It's like it's gonna be a very big night for us. 18 January, again fight. Umar for the title. Islam defending his belt. I cannot be. Like, I have to be here, but I don't like it.
With Khabib in the corner of his fellow Dagestanis, it seemed like they were impossible to beat. With how easily Khabib's fighters were winning it seemed impossible for them to lose, and people were even making memes about how it seemed like Khabib was simply controlling his fighters with a remote. Under Khabib's coaching, the team found a lot of success, including Khabib's childhood friend Islam Makhachev winning the UFC lightweight title and his cousin Usman winning the Bellator lightweight title. It seemed like they were a level above everyone else. That was until UFC 311. Eagles MMA had 2 title fights on the same card where Khabib's cousin was scheduled to challenge Georgian fighter Merab Dvalishvili for his bantamweight title. There was a lot of trash talk leading up to the fight, and Merab really wanted to shut Umar up. As expected, Umar was a heavy favorite, but the fight proved the odds makers were wrong. Merab dominated Umar with his far superior gas tank, taunting him the whole fight. Merab not only beat Umar decisively, he embarrassed him, and he did it all right in front of Khabib. Following the loss, fellow Georgian fighter, featherweight champion Ilia Topuria, tweeted, "Georgian wrestling, Dagestani wrestling." That isn't just trash talk either. Ilia really believes it. There have been a lot of stories of Ilia beating Dagestanis in training.
Then Topuria was in the middle with a high-level wrestler from freaking Dagestan. And that guy is so strong and good defense. And then he took the guy down, Dagestani wrestler. That's when I'm like, man, this guy can do it all. I just saw him knocking a couple guys out. And he's that strong and he can wrestle.
Ilia himself has been pushing for a fight against another Dagestani Eagles MMA fighter, Islam Makhachev.
What's the issue with Islam?
I don't have anything personal with him. He's the world champion in the lightweight division. I want to move up to lightweight division. I want to face him. It's easier for me to weight cut. I already did it. I already fought at 155 in London against Jai Herbert. I want to do it once again for the world title.
The difference between Georgia and all the other countries that Dagestani fighters have come up against is that Georgia also has a deep-rooted fighting culture. They have a lot of very talented wrestlers and MMA fighters. Recently, Ilia has vacated his featherweight belt and stated that he will be moving up to Islam's division. With another Dagestan versus Georgia matchup looming, what do you think? Do you think Dagestan wrestling still reigns supreme, or is Georgia the next country to take over MMA? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time. This has been the Combat Sports Era.